Welcome to Girls Gone Hallmark, a Hallmark review podcast. I'm Megan, and I'm a longtime Hallmark movie fan.
I'm Wendy. I'm a former Hallmark hater.
Today we're discussing the cases of Mystery Lane, Death is Listening, which originally premiered on Hallmark Mystery on Friday, September 13th, 2024. Hang out with us on Instagram. We'd love to have you. We have 2 accounts, Girls Gone Hallmark and Megan and Wendy.
We also have a booming Facebook group if you want to join us there. Megan and I are always in there. We engage with you. We're not just like podcasters who don't, have anything to say to the people who spend their time listening to us.
That's right.
It's called Girls Gone Hallmark. I'll leave a link in the show notes. Also, visit our website, girlsgonehallmark.com. When I say I'm feeling proud, I'm feeling real proud of our website over there. If you want all the Hallmark news or information about upcoming movies, we are just putting it out there every day.
There's a ton of information over there.
So if you're feeling like, I want to watch a Hallmark movie set in Paris, we got you covered.
Or Ireland. Or Hawaii.
It's a great website.
It's my birthday week this week, and am I going to milk that for all it's worth? Yes, I am, because you, as a listener, can give me the greatest gift, and it's completely free, and that is a review of our podcast in the Apple Podcast app. As a side note, I did discover that I did know Spotify had comments. I didn't know that we, as the podcaster, had to go through and approve all of them.
I didn't either.
So I'm on it now. If you are a Spotify listener, feel free to leave comments. I will be rapidly approving them. You can leave written reviews in the Apple Podcast app, and I'd like to read a recent one from Barb, who says, I love these two. Megan and Wendy have such great rapport. Their news and notes section helps me catch up on all things Hallmark. I only wish their episodes were longer. I listen to Megan and Wendy on my morning walks, a great way to start the day.
I don't know how we could talk about one movie for longer than 30 minutes.
We've gotten a ton of feedback over the years that people like the episode length. But there's not a lot of filler.
Yeah, but good news, Barb, we got tons of audio content you can listen to of us just being us.
There are 298 episodes of Girls Gone Hallmark. So if you haven't listened to them all, fair warning, the early ones were a little rougher, but I think they were entertaining, but we just didn't know a dang thing about Hallmark.
And I was a hater.
And we, quite frankly, are experts in the field now.
Okay.
Yep, I'm claiming it.
Okay.
We also have a Patreon. And if you just like us, if you want to hang out with us, that's the best place to do it. It's patreon.com/Megan and Wendy. It is $5 a month, but you can get a full week free. So you can check it out. We drop new episodes every Monday and talk pop culture, all the stuff we're watching on and off of Hallmark. We talk parenting teenagers and midlife beauty woes. And we have a dedicated monthly episode where we dig into a topic. Sometimes it's serious. Often it's not. We share our favorite approved items over there, stuff that we use and love. So all that being said, patreon.com/Megan and Wendy is another great place to get more of us every single week. Thanks for that review, Barb. We are anxiously awaiting the drop of Countdown to Christmas news.
It's got to come this week.
And Girls Gone Hallmark will be the place for you to go for the updated information. So keep an eye on that. As soon as it's out, we will be updating. And we will do a preview episode sharing our thoughts on all the new movies.
I feel like take me to Vegas if I get this right. I have a feeling, just based on trends from previous years, it's got to be this week.
I agree with you. They let Hallmark Plus have its moment last week, and now we got to get the Hallmark Countdown to Christmas news out. I suspect October 18th will be the Countdown to Christmas launch date.
Well, I already made my prediction on that a long time ago.
That's just based on the week that it typically drops.
Friday the 18th.
I didn't think I was like spitting facts of new information here when I said that. Let's jump in with a synopsis of the cases of Mystery Lane.
Death is listening. As Birdie and Alden Case's relationship strengthens, they discover a mutual interest for true crime. But when their favorite podcaster is found dead, it is up to the cases to listen to the clues. Stars Amy Garcia and Paul Campbell.
Mike Rohl directed The Cases of Mystery Lane, Death is Listening. With 63 directing credits, Rohl has directed several episodes of When Calls the Heart, 2 episodes of Signed, Sealed, Delivered, as well as the first installment of The Cases of Mystery Lane. This isn't his only movie in the fall 2024 lineup. Rohl directed the upcoming Falling Together, also starring Paul Campbell.
I'm really looking forward to that movie. I think it might be a fun but hard watch. Just because the subject matter is so personal to Ashley Williams. In my neighborhood, there's a sign up for a walk
To end Alzheimer's.
that same weekend. I think it's significant that it's coming out on that date. It's like world,
Yes.
national.
It's intentional.
Yes, exactly. Thank you for getting me there. Joel DeVev and Margot Froley are the husband-wife writing team behind The Cases of Mystery Lane, Death is Listening. Joel has just 3 writing credits, these 2 movies, as well as a short called Bruce. IMDb also lists him, this is a little bit of a spoiler if you're not on IMDb, it lists him as a writer on a project in development, the untitled Ashley Williams Kimberly Sested project. Dovev was an assistant producer on the recent Prison Confessions of Gypsy Rose Blanchard, which aired on Lifetime, and I watched it.
Yeah, you did. Margot Froley has 6 writing credits, including the Cases movies, a Lifetime movie called Let's Get Physical with Jenna Dewan, as well as an episode of a 2008 series called Privileged.
Loved this series. When I saw the cast, I was like, I bet Megan watched that.
This was, other than Reba, this was my Joanna Garcia Swisher gateway drug. A 2008 series called Privileged, which starred Joanna Garcia Swisher, Lucy Hale, and Ashley Newbrow. If you've never seen it, look it up. I believe it was on the CW. Joanna Garcia Swisher does play the nanny to 2 very privileged teen girls. Froley is also listed as a writer on the Ashley Williams Kimberly Sestad project.
Now you really want to have Margot and Joel on the show, don't you? So you can talk to
I
Margot.
didn't need that information to want them on the show.
I know.
I'm all in. Yes, we are going to do a full 10 minutes on
Privileged. Her time on Privileged.
On Privileged.
Amy Garcia plays Birdie Case. Garcia's TV credits include Dexter, Hulu's Woke, Marvel's MODOK, Rush Hour Vegas, and The George Lopez Show. She also recently headlined a Netflix film called Christmas with You. This movie marks Garcia's 2nd movie for Hallmark, and it was just announced that Garcia will join the 3rd season of Criminal Minds Evolution on Paramount+.
Amy Garcia also will appear at weekend 4 of the Hallmark Christmas Experience, where you and I will be in attendance.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Me too. We're going to be like, Birdie, Birdie.
Let's do that. We need a shirt or something. So fun.
Paul Campbell plays Alden. Are you embarrassed that I just did the Arsenio?
No, not at all.
Paul Campbell plays Alden. With Campbell's 54 acting credits, we last saw him in last year's Magic and Mistletoe. It's kind of wild that it's been almost a whole year since he's been in a Hallmark movie. However, he has been busy. He's got 2 more movies on Hallmark, including Falling Together, which airs this Saturday. He also will reprise his role as Stephen in The 3 Wiser Men and a Boy this holiday season.
I think it's kind of nuts if he's not in another Christmas movie.
Oh, yeah.
What have you been doing all year, dude? Right? He's got to be in another movie.
Keep in mind, he also wrote
I know.
3 Wiser
I
Men.
know. He's a busy writer, too. I just want him in another Christmas movie.
Me too.
Like a standalone where he's the lead in it.
I agree with you.
Matt Hamilton returns as Officer Air Quotes Newton. Hamilton has 62 acting credits with 3 non-Hallmark projects in production. We last saw him in a world record Christmas during last year's Countdown to Christmas. Fans in the Girls Gone Hallmark Facebook group are calling for Matt to step into a lead Hallmark role.
Are they now?
What do you think about that?
I'm all for it. We're going to talk about my Matt Hamilton love later in this episode.
Okay.
Megan Heffern plays Birdie's old friend Kristen. Heffern has 69 acting credits with roles in Betty's Bad Luck in Love and Retreat to You. She will be seen next in autumn at Apple Hill.
Samantha Ferris plays podcaster Laurel St. James with a whopping 92 acting credits. You might recognize Ferris from Hallmark favorites like A Picture of Her, A Winning Team, When Calls the Heart, and Christmas Under the Stars.
Lillian Doucette-Roche plays fellow crime podcaster Katie. She has 18 acting credits, with the last 6 projects being for Hallmark. She recently played Mia Cavendish in February's Paging Mr. Darcy.
Brandy Alexander plays Yogi Wintress. Brandy's no stranger to Hallmark. She has appeared in movies like Wedding Every Weekend, Darrow, and Christmas on Cherry Lane. Did I just see Megan shake her head when I said Darrow?
Is that what it's called? I think it's Darrow and Darrow.
I don't know what it's called, but it's the one that has Wendy Malick in it.
We know that now.
Brandy, like I said, was in Christmas on Cherry Lane, and there is no news if she will reprise her role as Daisy in the rumored sequels.
Yeah, it feels like the fact that they have made 3 more movies is the worst kept secret on Hallmark, but the details surrounding those movies, when they will air, the format of those is still heavily under wrap.
Also, do you follow Jonathan Bennett's account?
Oh, yeah.
Homie is hitting the wall because he has been so busy over the last several months, like on airplanes back and forth, hosting gigs, doing his Halloween show on, is it Food Network?
Uh-huh.
He's so busy right now. Are they trying to wrap this Cherry Lane stuff? It's not done. Do we know if it's done?
I think it's done. But he's going to be on the cruise with us.
I can't wait.
I say it as if we're going to be hanging by the pool together, grabbing a cocktail. Peter Benson makes a brief appearance as Pat every single time Peter Benson appears in a Hallmark movie. I'm like, it's Peter Benson.
I know. I like seeing him.
This movie marks his 170th acting credit. Benson directed the upcoming Love on the Danube Kissing Stars, which will premiere on Hallmark Plus on September 26th. That is another face I would love to see on the Hallmark Christmas cruise, by the way.
Me too. He just seems like a fun dude.
As of today, they've announced exactly 2 stars appearing on the Hallmark Christmas cruise. Tyler Hines, who's going to be carrying the weight of 1,000 heinies on his back if they don't announce some more stars soon. And of course, Jonathan Bennett, as we just mentioned.
Was there a guarantee of the number of Hallmark stars that would be on these cruises? There wasn't, right?
When we signed up for this, I was like, you mean I could go on a cruise with a friend for a week and call it work? Okay, That's all I needed to know. People are digging deep in the Facebook group into the contract they signed.
Oh, stop.
About the information they were promised. I'm like, you're going on a cruise. It's gonna be great.
Just enjoy.
But we'll make it fun. Let's move on to your first impression of Death is Listening.
My first impression is, say babe one more time.
Oh, didn't even clock it.
At the end of the movie, I wish I had kept count. They call each other babe. Look, I watch Summer House. I love Summer House on Bravo. I've watched it a million times over. And this season that Carl and Lindsay get together, they call each other babe so much that made me think that the writers of this movie must also watch Summer House. And that was like a joke.
Well, I think we need, when this makes its way to Hallmark Plus, a Cases of Mystery Lane Babe edition where they have a babe counter.
Wouldn't that be fun?
I've given you that information for free. Hallmark, you're welcome.
What's your first impression?
Where's my prize? I found the murder and the motive before it was revealed.
Get out.
I mean, no, before Alden got there, I got there.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
A lot of people on Reddit were like, clock the murderer so early. And I was like, fine. I don't watch the mysteries to figure it out, to be
Typically,
quite honest.
I don't either because I never can.
I'm always wrong.
I'm not even trying. The fact that they introduced her in the beginning and never circled back, I was like, that's weird. And then as we started to get into how upset she was when she was like, I'm going to have to issue a retraction. This is going to ruin me. I was like, oh.
Well,
but
it's you.
Look, my success rate's real low. I will not be going to PI school anytime soon.
Are you telling me there's a chance we could start a true crime podcast next?
I actually find true crime podcasts to be a little exploitive. Yes. So probably not. We don't have time. But I do have another side project that we need to discuss later in this episode.
Write it down. Oh, in this episode, we're going to talk about it?
Yeah.
You guys, she's going to spring it on me. Okay, stay tuned for that. Let's talk about what you liked about this movie.
Well, aside from my throwing shade at true crime podcasts, I love this current and of the moment storyline.
Ding, ding, ding. It's my first like as well.
It's perfect. The true crime podcasts obviously are having a very extended moment. I love their like only murders in the building takeoff, bringing the crime back to the podcaster, and then introducing all of the suspects as being fellow podcasters was fantastic.
I thought it was fun. Most of all, I thought it was cool that it was a relevant storyline. Not just because we're podcasters, but
We exist in 2024 in
Yeah.
a world where true crime podcasts are a big deal. Are you trying to imagine the angle we would take on our totally unique true crime podcast?
no, I was trying to think of like, could a Hallmark star murder us for this podcast?
Oh, no.
Somebody who was unhappy with a review.
They're going to knock on my front door and just bust a cap at the kitchen table.
Bust a cap. Oh my God.
Hey, I watched, what's that movie?
Give me the.
Save the Last Dance.
Oh my God. I love that movie.
When he was like, I don't know if you're going to bust a cap in my ass if I darken your doorstep. And she's like, I'm not going to bust a cap. Wendy's doing the Julia Stiles Juilliard dance. If you haven't seen it recently, please look it up. Because I love that movie. I've seen it easily 10 times. Kerry Washington as the older sister. It's just so great. I probably thought like, wow, she's really doing something here when she's doing her ballet hip hop amalgamation. But when you see it now, particularly knowing that there are 13-year-olds on TikTok who could dance circles around her. All right, we have digressed, but
Oh my gosh, I'm dying. It's so funny.
I'm going to pretend like you didn't say that because I did find this to be one of the creepier murders on Hallmark. Something about she's sitting in this dark podcasting studio.
Yeah.
She's alone. The murderer comes into the studio and is like quietly walking in. We see them add the silencer to the end of their gun. We see that she sees the murderer approach her. But that was very scary to me. On a more serious note, I did find that the ending of the movie where we looked back on the victims of the faux serial killer, I thought that was quite touching, actually.
I thought so too. For a fictional story.
And a very silly one. This is a murder mystery that doesn't take itself too seriously. They are bringing the comedy. But I thought that was really nicely done. Why are you laughing at me?
Just picturing me doing that stupid dance. What possessed me to jump up?
No, but I wish we were on video because you did a nice job with the hop. Wendy thinks that moment was touching too.
I do. I thought that was good. I thought that was really good at the end of the movie.
For all my talk about how like these podcasts can be exploitive, I thought that was nice and offering closure to those families.
Yes. No, I thought that was great as well. In terms of the story, I thought it was really well-rounded. Some of these mysteries have a lot of holes in them.
Oh, yeah.
Like Swiss cheese. I thought this was complete.
Credit to the writing team.
They must be on the pulse of true crime.
I think not only that, though, we just talked about the Jane mysteries and how, like, halfway through, they just are throwing suspects. There's so much going on, right? We had all the podcaster suspects, a lot going on, but they kept me dialed in. I knew what was happening the entire time.
Me too. On the flip side of the mystery, I love a good comedy, and this one had me locked in. There were so many funny parts to it. I love this genre.
The many faces of Paul Campbell, especially his bare-chested salsa teaching moment.
The best scene I've seen all year long, I think.
I like can't breathe watching that scene.
How much was improvised there? Oh, Bertie, don't leave your partner alone. And I'm dancing again. What is happening?
This podcast needs to be on video today.
Oh my gosh.
Wendy just salsa'd for the listening audience.
When I saw the still of the picture prior to the movie coming out, I was like, what in the dance fever is going on here? Because it was very, like, with her side ponytail, it looked very 70s. And then now, of course, like, we know it was, like, salsa. But, my God, it was so funny.
Do you think Paul Campbell's chest is that smooth, or did he have to do some prep for this movie?
Manscaping before his role? Does the makeup department have to deal with that? I wish we had Paul on the show to answer these kind of questions.
Paul's like, are you freaking kidding me? I wrote one of the #1 movies of the year, and you're asking me about my hair grooming. The inquiring minds want to know, Paul.
Would he appreciate it, or would he be like, these yahoos?
Hey, do you remember when we reviewed the movie that I can't think of the name of? 3 women. It's a mahogany movie. They're in Europe. They're all experiencing Karen Pittman. It's not girl friendship. Unthinkably good things.
Something like that, yeah.
And this is the same episode where I said we are experts in the field. Karen Pittman tweeted after listening to that episode that she loves when reviewers take their jobs seriously, but they don't take themselves too seriously. Mm-hmm. And I have lived on that comment ever since then. That's the highest compliment. So hopefully that would be Paul Campbell's opinion too.
Paul, we'd love to have you on the show. I know you're out there making the rounds right now. Come on ours. Paul and Amy. Did you think they have great chemistry together?
Amazing.
They work really well off of each other, right?
Even when they're walking through the parking lot and he's shoving that cinnamon bun in his mouth, they just felt like a married couple having a conversation. They were vibing off each other.
For me, this was like Paul's best role. I remember reading an interview he did prior to the first one. This was a dream role for him to play kind of like this funny guy in a mystery. Mm-hmm. He leaned so hard into this movie. I thought he was so good. The way I laughed when he goes into the yoga studio and she's like, namaste. He's like, namago. I died.
Also, he's like, oh, like this is the room. There's not like a room before the room. Oh, God.
So good. I love them together. I think they're pretty dynamic together as a comedy duo.
Yeah, speaking of dynamic, I do have 2 more likes.
Yes, go ahead.
Officer air quotes / Tom. I think he's the perfect complement to Alden and Birdie. I love that our amateur detective piece, because, you know, the Hallmark Mystery, we got a real detective in it. I love it that it's a duo. Mm-hmm. It gives us so much more. But adding Tom as their counterpart in the official role, the 3 of them are so good together.
So good.
I'm actually surprised that Matt Hamilton hasn't had a leading role, but maybe we're going to get news about that with Countdown to Christmas dropping. I would not be totally surprised by that.
Listen, when he would be like, dude, you can't do that. Like, Tom is his name, Tom Newton. He's so like dry compared to those 2 quirky like personalities. It just works so well. It's such a nice, great triangle of personalities. I loved it. Also, I think he's kind of a wowie zowie.
100%.
He should be in a leading role.
He's like Victor Webster level.
In addition, I really love this growing bromance between Alden and air quotes. I think towards the end of this movie, we saw them collaborating more, right? Mm-hmm. There's a little bit of an understanding between them.
Mutual appreciation.
Yes. And the last thing I liked about this movie, back to Paul and Amy, I thought their characters were relatable, especially towards the end. And I'm going to talk about that in my wishes, but like, you know, and they have this sit down, check in with each other.
Yeah.
I thought that was really nice for this married couple because we don't get a lot of married couples in Hallmark movies. I like that they're working on things.
I have one more like, and that is I thought the cliffhanger at the end was genius and low stakes. We already wrapped up the story. We got everything we needed to know. You made me want to know more. What's the deal with Bertie's dad?
Yeah.
And we did reach out to the writers of this movie to ask about a 3rd movie. Their comment was that they couldn't say anything officially. That doesn't mean anything, but to me, I'm going to read into that. They said they're open to future movies. I'm going to suspect that we're going to get a 3rd movie.
The script's already written, you think?
Or in progress.
Yeah, I hope so. Mm-hmm. I love the cliffhanger in this movie. I can't remember if in the first movie there was a cliffhanger or not. I don't think so because we didn't pick up anything. So yeah, it was good. It was good. All right. If that was your final like, let's move on to wishes.
Well, I told you I have a future side hustle for us. And that is that when there is a podcasting related storyline, we need to be the extras.
Oh,
That is
I would
the
love that.
ultimate Easter egg.
I thought you were going to say we need to be consulted.
Look, I thought they did a great job with one major exception that we will talk about in my Did You See That?
Okay, great. Being an extra, being one of the suspects would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
Call us. No, I don't want to do that.
What are you talking about?
If I don't have a line, it'd be great. If I'm just in the background sitting at a mic.
We need lines. We need an IMDb credit.
And then
we
I'll
need
need
a SAG card.
I'm going to need an acting coach. Erica Tevle, where are you?
I'm just saying, don't say no
Okay.
before it's offered.
Can I tell you what I wished for?
Yeah.
I could have used a recap at the beginning of this movie. We talk about it all the time, especially movies that are sequels.
Yeah.
I need a recap. Give me a 20-second recap at the beginning. Tell me, because I have forgotten, is Birdie addicted to playing poker?
I think that was new, but I was like, wait, she's an attorney. Oh, they're going to PI school.
I remember her playing poker in the first movie, but she was doing it like secretively. And was that an issue? I can't really remember. Were they having marital problems in the first movie?
Yes.
Is it because he didn't work?
I don't remember.
A little refresher would have been great.
My final wish is I needed Birdie to be a little bit more worried about the fact that they clearly had a rodent in their house. And when he's like, something got into my cinnamon buns, she's like, I'm sure it's a one-off. No, ma'am. It's a mouse.
Yeah, but I think some people aren't as freaked out as you.
I notoriously ran upstairs, leaving my children downstairs in the presence of a mouse.
Fend for yourself, kids.
Figure it out. It won't hurt you, but I'm going to be up here now.
But I mean, she helped. She helped set up the traps and do all the
She
stuff.
did help, but it was days later where she was like, maybe we have a mouse.
If I opened my box of cinnamon buns that I had been
I
saving,
would cry.
I would be very upset. Any more wishes?
That's it.
Let's move on to Did You See That?
The one thing I found unbelievable about this movie is that all these podcasters are using a fancy podcast studio.
They're sitting at the kitchen table like we are,
Even the smartless guys are in their houses on Zoom.
and they're making a mint.
Most people are podcasting from their home. Most people, I would venture 95% plus of podcasters are not podcasting from an actual podcasting studio.
I'd like a studio.
I would too.
Back to the mouse. There is no way a mouse would, when they're doing that mousetrap thing at the very end, the mouse wouldn't sit there. The noise from the mousetrap thing, it would have scurried away.
So my note says, does Hallmark have CGI mouse money?
Well, they did this wide shot and it just looked like a little toy was sitting there.
But there are multiple scenes where there is a mouse moving around on screen.
And that led me to the question, do they have like a mouse handler? How does that work?
Was that a live mouse, or do we have big budget on this movie?
It looked like one to me.
It looked pretty good. But it's like basically dancing on the kitchen counter. Can you train a mouse the way you can train a dog? If you know, please email us, girlsgonehallmark@gmail.com.
At the end of the movie, where you said, it's so touching. I agree with you. Super touching. Did you notice all the murderers?
Were they all white dudes?
All white dudes. Every single one of them.
I mean, statistically.
I'm going to say it tracks.
I'm going to ask you a question. Did you happen to look at the three women, the photos that they put on their murder board when they were talking about the original?
I remember the scene.
The first one, did it or did it not look like Monica Padman?
I didn't look that closely.
I was like Googling. I'm like, is this a headshot of hers?
That would be really funny.
I don't think it was. Maybe because we were in the podcasting realm.
Yeah,
Monica Padman is the co-host on Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard. They never showed the photo in super, like they didn't do a still on the photo. It was always like shot from the side. But I was like, is that Monica Padman? I don't think so. Because I went to her Instagram and I wanted to see if she was like, made my first cameo.
Yeah. No,
As a
nothing.
dead girl in a Hallmark movie. Oh, well. What did you rate the Cases of Mystery Lane?
I gave it 4.5 stars.
As did I. I actually gave it, that's a lie. I gave it 4.75 stars.
Oh.
Great movie. Thank you for listening to this episode of Girls Gone Hallmark. We're back tomorrow with a recap and review of Chicken Sisters episode 2 and The Heiress and the Handyman coming later this week. So stay tuned to Girls Gone Hallmark. And Barb, you got what you wished for, a longer episode. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.